Get off your phone.
Get off it now.
I was reading a comment from the last podcast. It said, poor mustache man was having a meltdown about Ryan during his doo-doo story.
I want to address
Poor
that.
mustache man.
I want to address that because there were several comments that were grateful that I was trying to rein you in.
Yeah. Good luck.
Nobody had a problem with the poop story.
Nobody did.
No, people do.
Whenever people are like, "Oh, you did give a timestamp."
Yeah, you did a great job.
That was very nice.
Well,
That's very
that's not
nice
what I
of
was
you.
looking for, but thank you.
But no,
I did do
but
it.
you did a great job.
You did a great job. I always think it's funny when people are like, "Oh, I'm eating." Ugh.
I don't want to hear poop when I'm eating.
You don't poop?
Well, I'm not like
not when I'm
actually.
eating.
You're acting like I'm taking a shit into their ears, dude. Like I'm not like actually.
I think that's what this show
that's
is.
kind of what it's about.
That should be the one-liner for the show. Let us take a shit in your ears.
Poop watcher.
That's a good idea, poor mustache man.
Poor mustache man.
I can't believe
I didn't see that quote or that.
it just happened. It's like literally was posted.
Oh,
like,
because you made it.
no, yeah. It posted like 20 minutes ago.
I will say
It's from Pelsey at Pelsey. Poor mustache man was having a meltdown about Ryan telling his doo-doo story. A very funny comment from beginning to
We've
end.
had people every time we've talked about poop being like, stop talking about poop.
Agreed. And if you did not make a big deal out of it, people would have all commented, why are they doing this again? So it was thanks to you
Thank you.
that the pendulum has swung the other way.
Thank you.
And the goal was to not talk about it this year, and now this is the
first episode.
second episode of the year.
Well, many people also said, we love it. Keep it coming.
That's true.
Ryan's got no problem with that.
That's
and
right.
Somebody said, I just gave this podcast a chance for the first time. And I'm glad I locked in when the poop episode came, or when the poop story came. So
Do you all know about the grandma test in like filmmaking and screenwriting?
Now tell me that.
No.
The grandma test in filmmaking and screenwriting is when, like, at the beginning of the movie, you do the grossest thing that's going to happen. So that you're telling the audience to get the grandmas out of the room. This is not for you if you don't like this.
That's the Wolverine. What was the Logan? Logan did that.
What'd they do?
Logan did that.
I walked into the movie not knowing it was R-rated, and
Did
the
they
girl
show
goes
a butthole
nuts.
or something?
No, the girl. You know how like the girl just goes nuts in the beginning of Logan.
I can't recall. It's been a while.
Logan.
You're talking about
Wolverine.
Weapon X-23 or whatever the hell her
I
name is.
forgot about Logan.
She's like going crazy, and I was
yeah.
like, "Oh, I did not sign up for this," but I'm locked in now.
Was Logan in black and white?
No, there was a version.
There is a
of
version that they released.
Right. Noir.
Right. Cool.
Deadpool and Wolverine also does it.
Yes.
The intro sequence is particularly violent.
That was a big Wes Craven trick for hitting an audience really quickly in the beginning, i.e. Scream.
Anyway, that's what we did with a 20-minute poop story before. If you don't like the podcast,
We should probably do the intro. We could do the intro here.
hit it,
Oh, we
Ryan.
didn't do
That's
that.
you.
Oh, I do this one still? We're still.
I need you to record it so I can put it to a beat.
Gotcha.
I completely forgot about
Search
ET.
dirty worms. What up, you dirty worms? Hang on tight because the Watcher Boys are coming in. I think they just might have a lot to say on this podcast day called Podwatcher, baby, that you just started to play. Ryan, Steven, and Nasty Shane, too, and producer Captain Maddie on the ones and twos. No soap, apple. Say it with me, Podwatcher. No soap, apple. Say it with me, Podwatcher.
I wasn't sure if I was saying nose apple. Okay.
No soap, apple. Podwatcher. This is Podwatcher. Hey, Ryan. That's Ryan Bergara. That's Steven Lim. I'm Shane Madej.
That's right.
What did
And
the
there's
person
poor
call me?
mustache
Poor
man.
mustache.
And this poor mustache man. Let me screenshot
It is
that
an
so we
apt-
don't lose it because
It's an apt way to describe you
I'm going to
on
sign
this
it.
podcast.
I'm going to sign it.
New year. Technically, last episode was the first episode of the new year, but this is the first one we're recording in 2025. Steven, it's great to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Last week when you weren't on the podcast,
I'm glad I avoided the story.
I don't know if we ever acknowledged you were gone or if it took deep into the podcast.
No, you
before
did.
We did. Okay.
I think somebody was saying that they wanted. I think Ryan was like, "Oh, I want to share it when Steven's back."
Okay, good.
And then Matt was like, "You got to just share it now because you're already locked in here."
Oh my God, this year's been there's been a number of high profile data breaches raising serious concerns about personal information security. Dell suffered a breach that exposed 3.9 million customer records, including sensitive personal information. And who can forget when United Health was in the news because confirmed 100 million of their users had their data stolen, the largest ever healthcare data breach in the US. Oh. But most alarming of all, just a few months ago, National Public Data announced that they had suffered a major breach, potentially impacting every American The incident compromised over 2.9 billion records used for background checks, including critical personal information such as full names, addresses, dates of birth, phone numbers, and most importantly, social security numbers. No good.
That's not great.
It's been confirmed that the members of the hacker group have released this sensitive information online for free. That sucks. If you haven't been taking your personal information online seriously, now's the time to change that. You're more vulnerable than ever in today's digital landscape. Thankfully, I feel secure because I use Aura, today's sponsor. Aura monitors your personal data, including your social security number, across billions of data points like the dark web and public court records to alert you about personal identity theft. They also provide up to $5 million in identity theft insurance in case the worst happens. Plus, Aura offers a variety of other features to keep you safe online, including real-time alerts for data breaches, a VPN for secure browsing, data broker opt-out to stop companies from selling your personal information, a password manager to help you create and store strong passwords, and more. Now, I'm not leaving myself and my family vulnerable. My poor Obi.
That's right.
If they find out Obi's social security number,
that would be a nightmare.
I'm not leaving myself and my family vulnerable to data breaches. And if you don't want to either, you can go to aura.com/watcher to try 2 weeks for free. That will be enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data is exposed.
I have some exciting, surprising news for y'all.
Oh.
It's more exciting for me than anybody else, actually.
Ooh. Steven's exciting news.
Update. I'm getting LASIK on Friday.
What?
Oh, okay.
So this is the last time you'll see me with glasses ever.
Whoa.
My identity is changing.
You wear glasses a lot.
I do.
Are you worried about dry balls?
I
am. And I have these, there's like all of this stuff you do before the procedure. You take omega-3 pills, vitamins, supplements. You white your eyes a bunch with the teardrops. And then Friday, they just cut your eye open.
And have you been, I know to get LASIK, you have to have the same prescription for a certain amount of time to show that there's no drift.
You have to have a stable eyesight. So it's like you can't change more than like 0.5 over 6 months or something like that.
That's a long time and a lot of
This
change.
is an exciting update because we talked about LASIK last year.
Did
Remember? Yeah, and one of our
really
exciting.
You're saying that I've not been on camera, and so people are going to think that I've been like waving you off.
0.25? Is 0.5 a lot? Yeah, I guess it is a lot.
0.5 is a lot.
Wait,
yeah.
0.5 change?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I change about 0.25 every year.
My eyes
you're getting worse every year.
No, sometimes 1 year it got better.
My eyes just got 0.25 better.
It's so strange.
How's that possible?
I think it's just bad doctors.
No, it's not. You're because your eyes are constantly sort of adjusting and flexing, and you're building. It's a muscle.
Yeah, they're flexing, dude.
The
just sitting there fucking lifting.
The eye sphincter is a muscle.
I don't think all the editing in movies and Fortnite you're doing is making your eyesight better.
How dare you?
Certainly isn't making his skill set any better.
I was talking to my eye doctor about this because my eyesight got worse over the last 6 months by 0.25. But she was telling me just you should really follow the 20-20, like the rule where every 20 minutes you look out at something 20 feet away for like 20 seconds. And it actually has a big difference on maintaining your farsighted eyesight.
I do every 20 minutes. I look at something 20 feet away for 20 minutes.
You do?
Yep.
I do that unintentionally, I've been told. People have often told me that when I zone out, I'm just staring straight ahead, and sometimes someone is within that gaze.
You stare at people, yeah.
And I had no idea I was doing it.
You do it mid-conversation, too. And that's when I know whatever I'm saying will not be acknowledged, and you're going to jump in with some other comment or a joke that refers to something that happened 90 seconds ago.
He is time traveling when he does it, because he'll just go blank for 30 minutes.
So Steven, I'm curious, are your eyes the same, like each one, or are they different?
I think they're slightly off by like 0.25. And then my astigmatism got worse by 0.25.
I don't think you should do this.
I don't know.
Sometimes it doesn't work, you know?
I am worried about that. I've been waiting for this for 10 years, actually. I've been thinking about doing this for 10 years, which is why it's a big deal for me.
And now the tech is better.
The tech is supposedly
Worse?
They're just shaving your eyeball with lasers.
Oh, it's the same?
Are your eyeballs going to be
there's more long-term
There's data.
Yeah.
There's data now that shows that, it's not, because I was scared. When it first came out, I was like, oh, we'll see about this. But my mom got it like 8 years ago.
I've thought about it.
Fine still. I just, you know what it is? I'm very active. I play a lot of sports and I hate having to bring contacts with me or eye drops or extra contacts. And, I can't play in glasses. So it's a big week for me. And I'm getting it Friday. We're shooting a podcast Friday. I could come in.
Don't come in.
If I'm well enough,
Why would you come
in for the second shoot that you guys do on Friday. If I'm well enough.
Like, what do you have to do in the post-op? You got to
you can't sweat.
You can't sweat
into your eyes.
Well, that allegedly won't be a problem for you.
Yeah, you don't sweat, apparently.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, I don't sweat a lot.
I don't sweat a lot either. Are they giving you guff for this?
He says he doesn't smell or sweat.
Or sweat.
Okay. No, it's not that I don't smell. It's that I have the genetic power of, being less smelly when I sweat.
I see.
It's a thing. Look it up. Wait, why are you saying allegedly?
According to who, though?
Well, because Ryan always claims that you
Science.
stink.
No, I don't say that. I don't say that.
You do.
I don't say that. I just say I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true.
Yeah.
Because next time you sweat, put it in a little Dixie cup. I'll smell it.
No,
brother, dude, come on.
Next week on Podwatcher.
Now, I will not be here for that episode. The poor mustache man will have a big problem with, I smell my coworker's sweat.
Does are your eyeballs going to be swollen?
No,
I don't think they swell.
You're going to look like Large Marge.
He's going to look like the Mask. Or like when he sees a pretty lady.
Or like Nosferatu when he sees the blood, dude.
I don't know. I've tried to not think about it honestly because I am honestly a little anxious about it.
Yeah.
They make you take Xanax beforehand.
That seems odd.
Okay, maybe I'll do LASIK.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
I'll go get LASIK every week.
Jail free card.
I'm feeling a little stressed. Let me go do some LASIK.
That sounds great.
I have a funny eyeball thing is that Sarah recently bought some contact solution from Costco.
Why do you say that? Yeah.
Costco.
That's how they say it in Japanese.
Costco.
Costco. That's I butchered that, but in what was that one Japanese reality show that we used to watch?
Terrace House.
They used to go to Costco all the time.
Oh, really?
They say Costco.
Cool. And then we'd been using it for a month or two, and she was like, I read that that Costco it causes dry eyes, and I was like, I haven't noticed that. And then I was like, wait a minute, and I suddenly had a flashback to 8 times in the past 2 months because my eyes never get dry. I could wear my contacts, and I was suddenly just all this montage of multiple evenings where I was like, my eyes are kind of dry.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a minute, it is bad.
What are you talking about? Because you went to Costco earlier that day, or buying products from Costco?
No, I've been using the Costco's contact solution for 2 months. And
it is a Kirkland brand.
No, Kirkland is Kirkland Costco?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't realize
Kirkland
they had their
was
own.
just the vodka.
I thought you were saying that you bought solution that was sold at Costco, but it wasn't made by Costco.
Wait, you wear contacts?
I have no idea. Yes.
The point of the story is that
I suddenly remembered a dozen occasions.
Oh, my eyes have been dry.
I was like, wait, this stuff is horrible.
Much like The Sixth Sense,
Yes.
except for it's one of the first 5.
Except I wasn't dead. Yeah. Yes. The sense.
So what we're saying, 0 to 1 booms for this Costco.
Oh, that's no booms.
0 booms.
Yeah. You've watched the Costco guys?
No.
Oh, do you know about them?
Isn't a father and a son or something?
Do you know about the Rizzler?
Who the fuck is the Rizzler? Dude?
Wait, this could be a fun moment to educate Ryan about the Rizzler.
Do you not know?
I know what the
we
Rizzler
can't
means.
be talking about the Rizzler in 2025.
Wait, that's the boy's name, the Rizzler?
He's the Rizzler.
He's the one that does this.
Oh, okay. I could see why they call him that then.
Got the Riz.
Well, yeah, I think you should come to the podcast after you get your...
I don't think you should do that.
No, I don't think you should.
You know what? Maybe if I do, I'll just be like this the whole time, resting, and then I'll just talk.
We should hook you up.
You just look like Ryan when we normally.
Ryan pre-caffeine.
You should. We hook you up one of those Clockwork Orange machines. And
I was thinking that.
your eyeballs open the entire time.
Oh
The
my
Ludovico
goodness.
test.
Yeah.
Or with Ludovico method.
They do say that you'll get dry eyes afterward, and I don't know. Some people. I did see some people online who were like, "Wow, I've had it for 10 years, and my eyes just have been dry the entire time."
That sucks.
Oh my god!
And so
The entire time?
there are some people who have been very unsatisfied with the LASIK.
The whole time?
But I think it's like one in like a few 10,000, 100,000 people.
Wow.
I hope.
I tend to, anytime we travel, I always bring a little drippy drop, It's nice to have a little drippy drop on your person. I got chapsticks, I got drippy drops.
He does have that.
You're staying wet all the time.
I'm staying wet.
He's a very moist man.
Lubricated.
Moist Madej.
Yeah, that's what they call. Everybody calls me that. I wanted to close a loop on something from last week that we didn't get to, but I thought would be fun to visit. Since last week on the podcast, we briefly mentioned, I can't remember which of us brought it up. I think because we were talking about Jimmy Stewart, but a clip of Jimmy Stewart talking about his dog.
Oh, man.
And look at old Jimmy Stewart. Holy moly.
Wow.
And this is when he was on Carson. But he's pretty old, and it's audio centric. So this is
long.
good for
it's
podcast.
long.
Is it?
Look at those glasses.
Yeah, he's.
What is it with talk show hosts being named with J's? Why are they all J's?
Johnny, Jimmy,
Yeah.
Jimmy.
There's a lot of Johns and Jims.
Jeff Myers.
Seth Meyers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got me.
Jonan O'Brien.
Jonan.
So we're going to watch the video on our own. We're not going to include all of it in the episode. We'll just do an abridged version.
How long is it?
It's 4 minutes. So we'll put a link in the description if you want to watch it as well. So Jimmy Stewart is reading a poem about his dog.
Also, if you don't know who Jimmy Stewart is, he's a very famous actor from back in the day.
Yes. He's been referenced 3 times, every episode of the last 3 episodes, including this.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Oh, great guy. I didn't get around to It's a Wonderful Life before Christmas.
I didn't either.
But you know what I did? I watched it after I got back from Chicago.
Interesting.
Like in the week between Christmas and New Year's. Perfectly suitable.
The no man's land.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Okay,
Here's a poem that Jimmy Stewart read about his recently deceased dog.
Oh, no.
He never came to me when I would call unless I had a tennis ball, or he felt like it. But mostly he didn't come at all. When he was young, he never learned to heel or sit or stay. He did things his way. And there were nights when I'd feel him climb upon our bed and lie between us, and I'd pat his head. And there were nights when I'd feel this stare, and I'd wake up and he'd be sitting there, and now he's dead. And there are nights when I think I feel him climb upon her bed and lie between us, and I pat his head. And there are nights when I think I feel that stare, and I reach out my hand to stroke his hair, and he's not there. Oh, how I wish that wasn't so. I'll always love a dog named Bo.
Oh, that was devastating.
You trying to kill us right now, Shane? Why would you make me watch this right now on camera?
Oh, man.
I don't know. Matt brought it up last week.
I said, had you seen it?
It's lovely.
I was actually thinking about something. I actually,
It's lovely.
over the break, I wrote it down in because I never come into this podcast.
You wrote that exact poem word for word?
No, I wrote dead dog remotes.
Huh?
Okay.
In my notes.
Okay.
And I was like, I got to bring this up in the pod at some point.
What?
Okay. Well, I'm glad we've watched.
Hard pivot.
It's not that hard
because
it's going to have a sweet ending. I promise you.
Okay. Get into it.
Now, sometimes I will be. This was in the no man's land of between Christmas and New Year's Eve, where nobody knows what the fuck to do with themselves. And
I love that time, by the way.
Perhaps I
played
was
pickleball for 5 days straight.
Perhaps I was playing Breath of the Wild. Perhaps I had enjoyed one of our sponsors, a microdose gummy back in the day. And
playing Breath of the Wild in between on the holiday break.
Oh, it was so beautiful.
I did a lot of Skyrim over the break.
I finished the game in like 5 days.
Oh, lovely.
And I was sad, dude. I was super sad.
I know it's a real. Did you do it all?
No, so here's the thing.
There's a lot.
I'm doing Tears of the Kingdom now.
Lovely.
Here's what I did wrong, and I'll get to the dead dog thing first in a second. But like the
Sounded like you were powering through it.
I powered through it and did the main quests, and then every now and then I do a side quest, and then after I finished the game, I went back to do side quests, but it felt kind of frivolous.
Yeah.
And now doing Tears of the Kingdom, I'm talking to every person, doing all the side quests, and then I'll finish the game after that. I just didn't understand.
It's about the journey.
I just got too ramped up because I was like puzzle after puzzle after puzzle.
I'm like that. Yeah. I'm like that.
But
that's why I like Skyrim, because I've played it several times, but I'm not like 100%er. I always just kind of like do what I do.
I think I might want to try to be that.
Oh, Skyrim.
A completionist.
Skyrim is incredible.
Yeah. But anyways, I was in a state, and sometimes when I'm in a state, I'll just write things in my notes, something I think it's funny.
So you wrote down dead dog remote.
And I'll look at it later with sober eyes and be like, what the fuck does this mean? And this particular one, I saw it this morning, and I was like trying to figure out what that meant. And I remembered when I was playing Breath of the Wild, I started to hear like a crunching noise. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I look over, and it's fucking Vinny, my dog, the pee-pee man.
Yeah.
Chewing on a remote. There's a remote that's like a remote like this that turns on our TV.
Oh no.
He's gone through 3 or 4 of them now.
Oh my goodness. With the batteries inside?
Well, yes.
I thought he was a good dog.
This is the one thing
bad
he
dog.
chews. This is the only thing he
Benny,
chews.
if you're watching,
I remember when old Vinny would chew the remote.
And the remote,
and
luckily,
now he's dead.
Now the remote, luckily, is cheap. It's. I thought the first time he did it, because like when we got the TV, I had actually lost the remote, and I was like, shit, I lost this remote. And I got to buy a new one on Samsung's website, so I bought it.
Samsung.com.
And it was $50. And I was like, dude, that's so much money.
Jesus Christ.
And then I looked up on Amazon, like, oh, you could buy one for like $6.
Universal, and all half the buttons work.
And only half the buttons work, but they do work. The power buttons and the volume ones work. So I bought that one, and then he chewed that up, and then I replaced it with the same one. Luckily, they still made the universal remote. Chewed that one up, and
you should rub it in spicy pepper oil or something.
It's the only thing he chews. It's the only thing he chews.
Well, that's not a good thing to chew.
And for whatever reason, I had just been taking these remotes and putting them in a drawer. I haven't been throwing them away. And I told Mari, one day there's gonna be a day where we're gonna see a pile of just these remotes, and we may want to memorialize them one day, because we'll look at those remotes and it will remind us of Vinny.
And
it was a really
sweet.
It's sweet, but it's like,
but what is that memorial?
I don't know.
Is it a?
Because he there's a lot of
a wall fixture with a bunch of.
I'm not sure, because he's a really good dog otherwise, and this is like one of the few things he does that's mischievous. But like, I feel like when a dog leaves, you don't get angry at the things they used to do that piss you off. You kind of almost miss them.
I wouldn't know. I've never had a pet die except my parrot. But Obi's fucking rocking and rolling, baby.
And so, anyways,
2025, he made it.
Zoom back into like where I had this done. I'm like playing Breath of the Wild. I'm like a little high. And I see it in his mouth. And normally the other 3 times I'd be like, dude, stop that. Get it out, as I get angry. But in this particular time, I had this like crazy thought where I actually got teary eyed looking at him. I was like, oh man, one of these days, this annoys me now, but one of these days I'm going to miss you chewing on this remote. And then like, I just kind of patted him on the head, took the remote, put it in the drawer, and I just kind of stared at it for a little bit. And I wrote that down in my notes.
A dog remote. I thought you were saying some sort of remote that like animates a deceased dog corpse.
No, that would be much more Frankensteinish.
Very scary.
No, but yeah, I was like, I wonder what I should do with these remotes. And now I'm wondering, do I throw them away?
Stephen, do your dogs eat appliances?
Oh, no. The remote thing, that's happened once a while ago.
So your dog did that too.
Scary. Sort of look like a big black bone with buttons.
It can kill your dog though. The batteries. If they chew the batteries, they could
Alkaline,
die.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's no way he's getting into that thing though.
Well, my Ruth, man, she's a surgeon. She gets right in there. Anything that she can do.
The battery out, like the whole back of the remote is the thing that comes off.
No.
So like you have to like.
I had the same one.
It's pretty secured. Oh well, he's not that smart then.
The only thing little Obi eats are bags of pastries. If we bring a pastry home and it's in a bag, it could be like on the counter. He doesn't eat anything that he's not supposed to. But if we're not in the room, he'll hop up on the counter, knock the bag of pastries down, tear it open. I don't even know if he eats the pastries or just tears them apart.
He's doing it for sport.
Like
the crinkly.
It's the crinkly, but it's specifically pastries and breads, because I've looked it up and other people are like, cats are weirdly attracted. They don't necessarily want to eat pastry, but the smell of bread for some reason gets them
smell
crazy.
Is sexy.
So he's just taking the pastries, throwing them back in the river, doing it for sport.
In the river?
In Burma.
You know what I heard about dogs who are nearing the end of their life, I heard people will feed them chocolate actually.
Jesus.
Just so they can. Well, no, not to kill them, but like.
Go crazy.
All right, let's finish this up.
Yeah. It's to give them, like, they want chocolate their entire life, and it's just like you're not supposed to eat chocolate as a dog. It's very toxic. But if they're one of their final meals could be some chocolate,
like a M&M.
Try it out. Yeah, because
I mean, they can survive. They can survive.
They can,
depending on how big the dog is. Yeah.
Do they want chocolate more than any other thing?
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. But dogs that's necessarily true. I think dogs just want human food.
Do you feed your dog a bacon? Does dog like a bacon?
This drives me insane.
How often are you guys having bacon? I
Dogs
don't have
don't know
bacon
it's
in
not
my
bacon.
home.
I don't have bacon that often.
No.
But I'm not feeding Vinny any food because then he'll beg, and then I also don't know what's good or bad for him. I'm just giving him the food I know is good for him.
I've been feeding Obi because we used to give him like special, the churu. Well, you don't have a cat, I guess. There's things
for a second, I thought you were trying to say churro. No, I was like, the churros. Y'all with your little hats and your churros.
I've seen them at the Mexican part of Disneyland. It's a brand called Churu. It's basically like a Go-Gurt, but it's full of like tuna puree.
Oh, the tuna tubes.
The tuna tubes. And those used to be a very specific, like, we'd be like, okay, it's a little treat. We've got one for Obi. It's been like a week or two. We'll give him one. Now every night I'm like, who wants a churro? And I just feed him every
house and home now.
Yeah,
Do you think Obi faked his
so he could get all these treats?
He's like, I'm not really sick.
He's been doing fine.
Sweet.
I just called our vet like this week because I was like, hey, we've been refilling his steroids and everything. We did like a blood test a couple months ago and things seemed like they had improved a little bit, which, great. But I was like, should we bring him in again for another blood test? And they were like, do it every 6 months. And I was like, you say so. The initial diagnosis was 2 to 4 months. But sure, we'll bring him in April, I guess, if he's around.
Is Obi jacked now?
Obi's fucking
just fucking like huge ass pecs.
No, I do. The steroids I think make him a little hungrier, but for the most part, he's been just kind of status quo. So.
Well, also Vinny he loves napkins.
Well,
he fucking loves a napkin.
Those are edible for dog, I think, right?
He certainly makes them edible.
Yeah.
He'll get your napkin. He's like, oh, this is great. Tastes just like the food you ate. Sometimes he'll just eat the napkins raw.
Mm.
Can I just share something about
Yes, of course you can.
Vinny that I've not even really said out loud before, so this might take a second to process.
Okay.
So I actually watched Vinny for overnight, over break.
Yeah. I went to a friend's birthday party in the OC and I
dropped them off, which is, we'll do it anytime, by the way, Ryan. We love Vinny. But and this isn't even the thing that we were talking about, like, because he did, I think in a new environment, he was trying to mark territory, like where Ruth is. Something.
So like the 2 days before he came to your house, he's starting to mark inside, not in our house, but we took him to my parents' house. And he marked because they have dogs there. And I was like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
You're potty trained. But he's not like taking a big piss. He's like, just like little drops. And like, I mean, we haven't gotten him fixed yet because you're not supposed to fix bigger dogs until 1.5 years in. But
yeah, so that aside, it was totally fine.
He's got like big balls.
He's got some coconuts, bro.
Wait, is that the story?
That's not the story. But when I was wiping his butt, I was like, whoa,
you gotta wipe his butt?
Yeah, dude, got some big old cojones.
Sometimes it'll get stuck on his fur. That's normal for any dog. Okay, so but how?
What's this about their glands? You got to express.
You got to express them every
glands.
Look, they should naturally express on their own, but some dogs have.
Sometimes they'll like drag their butt on the carpet. You'll see that's when they need to get it done.
That always makes me laugh. Okay,
Ryan has a golden doodle.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I didn't realize this until I was watching him like for more than an hour. It's like this dog kind of freaks me out. Like this breed of dog.
Yeah.
Kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Is it the energy?
It's like,
or is it the,
I understand that the history of dog breeding and everything.
Yeah.
So, whatever. But something about a doodle, a golden doodle specifically, it's like a perfectly made dog. It's like this was built to be a dog. And that behavior and the look of it kind of made me a little unsettled.
They're too human. They're like,
yes. It's like too perfect.
And they judge me. He judges me all the time.
Is it? Yeah, I'm trying to understand what about it unsettles you.
Well, the way he was walking to was just like it's like it kind of just walks like a robot dog.
He's like a cartoon dog.
He's a cartoon dog.
Yes, and I gotta watch him more to understand what this feeling is. But the first few hours, I was just like, I feel like got the heebie-jeebies here. Like just this Gordon Doodle,
like a host from Westworld.
Yes,
Too perfect.
He's got.
Do you feel that at all?
No, because
Okay.
he's such a goofy dog, and he's a goofball. But I got him also a new collar because his one before was too small, and the name tag is now too big. So he really looks like a cartoon dog. Like it says Vinny in huge letters on his chest.
Oh my God.
He's also very lanky.
He's very lanky and floppy. He's also super cuddly.
Doesn't shed. So it's just like this. It's like a perfect dog. You know, it's like the Paul Rudd of dogs.
Yeah.
And
If
Paul Rudd is,
peed in the house.
and he's unsettling to me. Paul Rudd is a little unsettling to me.
Whoa.
He's like too perfect for me.
Think of how weird it was for me and Mari because we walked into that shelter and we were just like, all right, that's it. And they're like, yeah, this guy was on a farm.
That's crazy.
So
This is
like,
the one.
Yeah. No, he's like, and no, like no hate on Paul Rudd. Sorry. I just, he's just he's too perfect. And I'm like,
well, he's not perfect. I mean, he's fucking chewing the shit out of my remotes. Paul Rudd coming to my house and causing a ruckus. He's
your friend from Ant-Man.
Chewing on wires and shit.
Oh, that's right. You met Paul Rudd.
He's a very nice man.
Right. It's like the Golden Doodle.
He gave Mari and I very good marriage advice. We were like, I'm about to get married, Paul. You have any advice for us? And he was like, for a long-lasting marriage, because you've been with your wife for a long time. And he was like, yeah, don't get divorced.
Very funny.
It's pretty funny. Because that was a weird experience being on set with him with Mari and I. Like both of us were there.
I would imagine.
But he chews the remote, so he started. Now I think we've kicked the marking thing because
nice.
But man, that was so weird.
Oh, it's totally fine. I
was like, Steven told me he marked in the house, and I was horrified.
Well, that's enough dog talk.
We talked at the Sorrel-Weed House last week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sad I couldn't be there for that.
It was fun.
You guys were very softball-y.
What do you? You're talking to a human being.
Yeah, you can't.
No. It was good. It was great. It was great.
Yes, but that was my entire point. Is that like we should be softball-y with this person because this person had
they weren't even
intent.
there.
It was just funny because like Ryan goes from like ultra angry and the like not angry. What were you? Ultra upset.
Oh no, I was upset.
He was aggro and toxic.
and then you completely flipped when you saw a person on screen. You're like, oh, you're.
But also, she wasn't there.
The problem with the internet.
She wasn't there either.
What's the problem with the internet? Tell us the problem with the internet.
Well, you don't see a face. You're not talking to a human being.
Yes.
But she wasn't there either during the time. Like, it's like weird that she had to like answer up for something that's
true.
Didn't even have nothing to do with her.
I did see some comments that like they could be lying, and yes, they could be lying.
Sure.
What are you gonna do now?
Who cares?
Anybody could be lying.
Ghosts aren't real.
Anybody could be lying, but I choose to believe they aren't.
No, it was very sweet that you came on, and I was, it was cool to hear her talk about the changes they've made, and honestly, like your comments about, I believe that she believes she saw a ghost. I think that you should just say that I believe you're not lying. I thought that was a bit.
No.
Ryan's right. It sounds a little condescending.
I think that's why he does it.
100%.
Okay. As long as we're on the same page.
I have to be somewhat condescending. We do ghost hunting, and I have to like withhold a lot to keep Ryan scared. If I'm there the whole time going like, no, there's
tons of people in this world who have all started seeing a ghost. You're saying all of them. I don't know. You're dismissing a lot of stories.
I know. I am.
And somebody in the comments did say you could say like, I believe you perceived the reality. Your perceived. I believed your perceived reality. I don't know. Like I don't
believe their perceived.
Your perception of the reality.
Yeah,
I think Steven, you got it right. I believe you're telling the truth.
I believe. Yeah.
I can't.
But I don't know if that's true.
I can't. I'll never be what everybody else wants me to be. Okay.
Well, that's not even about that. It's more just like there's a better way to say it. I think if you say I believe you're telling the truth, you're not saying that what they're saying is true. I believe. You're just saying you're saying what you're saying in a better way.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't give a shit about this conversation.
Fair enough.
Speaking of ghost stories,
a
new segment for 2025.
Ooh.
They may not be weekly.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, nice.
Tales of the Year.
Oh,
That's pretty good. Tales from the weird, for all over the internet. The internet's got weird things happening every once in a while. And just recently, ghosts have hit the mainstream once again.
Oh, what?
With the Airbnb CEO sharing a very strange complaint from a client.
Okay.
Yes, here you go.
What's the craziest Airbnb experience? Not that you should be advertising those, but
well, we've had all sorts of pretty weird ones. I'll give like one or two. You know, we get millions of customer calls every day, and we get some of the most bizarre calls. One day, a customer calls us and says they want a full refund. We say, why do you want a full refund? They said because the house is haunted and there's a ghost in the house. And we're like, okay, well, we have to adjudicate this. So we call the host, and all the host has to do is deny it, because there's no photo evidence of ghost. Well, unfortunately, the host confirms the ghost, says that it's a friendly ghost named Stanley, and that the ghost, Stanley, is in the listing description. We read the listing description, Stanley is mentioned. So we go back to the guest, and the guest says, yes, we knew about Stanley, that's why we booked it, but Stanley has been harassing us all night. How do you adjudicate that? So I guess the point is, in this new economy built on trust, you can only imagine the kind of issues you deal with. There is no playbook for this stuff.
That's the extent of it. But a ghost in an Airbnb.
I want to know what Airbnb so I could go investigate it.
Maybe we should get to the bottom of the Stanley the Ghost.
Is there any links in there about where it is? I would love to go investigate that.
I'm sure I can find it.
That'd be awesome.
Someone, one of the Redditor comments said that'll be $765 in ghost fees.
I wonder what Stanley was doing. I mean, the typical things you hear about a ghost messing with somebody is like pulling them out of their bed, or tickling their feet, or pulling sheets off, things like that.
Yeah, what does harassing mean?
Probably, if somebody
noises.
If somebody was preventing you from sleeping, I could see how that would be annoying. I do that to myself mentally by just being scared in the place, but like I've never had like a ghost rip my sheets off or take my socks off.
That'd really be something.
If you saw a ghost on the listing, would you want to book?
For my personal time, no. But for like the show, for Ghost Files, yes.
So, but you would actively not book an Airbnb if there was a ghost on the listing?
Absolutely not. No. I'm going to take their word for it. You know how much less appealing they made their listing look by having to write that? So they probably do have a ghost then.
Very active one.
Because like they didn't want to write that, I imagine.
It's just funny because I can see Shane. Huh? No. Would you go to a place if it had a ghost listed?
I think if the people listing it mentioned there's a ghost, I'm like, I don't want anything to do with these people. So I probably wouldn't go.
Okay.
What if they give you a discount? What if they give you a discount?
I mean, I guess it depends
if you
on
ask
the
for
place.
a ghost discount.
I wouldn't give a shit. I don't think. If it's like a nice place and they're like, it's haunted, I'd be like, okay, whatever. I'll stay there. That's fine.
I'd have to have a discount for me to even consider it.
No,
so
sure.
you consider staying at a ghost
if
house?
they're offering
if
a
they
discount,
gave me a
I'll take
significant discount, if it was like 50% off or something.
What would you even expect of a ghost?
I don't know. I'm off the clock here. I'm trying to investigate this while I'm on my vacation. Also, Mari would not be stoked about that.
This makes me want to do a show like a Ghost Files Gauntlet where people who claim that their places are haunted actually invite me, and great. Yeah. Show me a ghost, because there's so many places
you should be wearing devil horns when you go do your
devil horns.
When you go do your auditing.
Oh, the auditing. I forgot. No, I just don't, I don't buy it. I don't know. I like all these people who are like, just based on all our experiences.
I don't know. I would say based on all our experiences, you would buy it, but
no. I'd be curious to know what's happening. If it's like little bumps and clonks, then it's probably just a house you're not used to.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're actually being accosted by a ghost, you'd probably want more than like a refund, right?
Well, there's nothing you can't get more than a refund on a situation like
press charges if it's scratching you
against the ghost.
To who? Yeah, they're gonna put him in the ghost jail.
Owners, I don't know.
That's not the
owner. But then they put the owners. They said it in the listing.
They said it in the listing.
That's where I'm like, okay.
They said it was a friendly ghost, though.
That's fair.
You can't control what he's doing.
Yeah, like what if Casper's like kind of possessing you? And
they should take out the friendly part, because friendly could, there's people who are friendly, and I'm like, this is too aggressive for me. Your friendliness is aggressive. So maybe that's what it was for the ghost.
Oh, it was like trying to kiss their neck or something.
Or like make small talk. constantly.
This is an interesting comment on Reddit. Someone said, "Ugh, everyone always thinks that their pet child or ghost is sweet, perfect little angel.
That's what it is.
Never assume those people are being objective."
This is just like dogs.
Yeah,
That's true.
You say Vinny's a good dog, and yet he's peeing and eating.
He's eating Samsungs.
The marking is new. Okay,
you should have called him the well-behaved in the house dog, man.
No, we call him the
You
pee-pee
call
man.
him the baby man. What do
Unfortunately,
you
he
get?
did live up to his namesake.
Yes, when we were watching Vinny, we were like, is this why he named him the PB man? He's peeing a lot.
It's unbelievable.
We're going to a haunted hotel
We are.
this week. I knew we were shooting Ghost Files somewhat early this year, and then
Because we're doing 2 seasons.
and then to be fair, there was a hold on the calendar.
Yes.
But those rarely come to fruition in the immediate future. And then we got an email from production, and Lizzie was like, "We're going Sunday," and I was like, "Sunday?"
Yeah.
So I was like,
Wait,
cool.
we had like multiple meetings last year on scheduling. I guess you weren't in any of those.
Yes, I just thought it was going to be closer. I mean, even Ryan was surprised. Ryan was like, "Oh, did you see we're going Sunday?"
It still comes up. It still comes up, and you're like, "Oh, damn."
Yeah, it really comes out of nowhere.
But no, we have. We're not gonna be gone that long, though.
No, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I'm looking for with some interesting spaces.
I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah.
Well, should your ghost be malevolent, and
May your ghosts be malevolent and the wind be always.
Anyway, that's a.
Ooh, which reminds me, I gotta go try on the boo belt. We made some adjustments to it so it's more durable.
Cool.
See if it still fits after the holidays.
Whoa! Put an extra
dude.
notch in that
Yeah,
bad
yeah,
boy.
dude.
From all those.
I'm trying to get back into working out. I worked out 2 days in a row. And
Oh,
counting.
whoa.
Today I did not work out yet, but I'm gonna work out today.
Do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Hey, what an interesting question. Let's get into it.
Oh yeah.
We should have a dog app where it's just the dogs for an hour.
Baby, get back here with my show.
Could we at least on Watcher TV release like a puppy Podwatcher where it's just 3 dogs in the room?
4, and your dog there.
Oh yeah, 4 dogs. Excuse me. I
Wait,
forget.
Vinny,
They all have headphones on.
Do we dub them like in Look Who's Talking Now?
Oh, we could.
Where Ryan's Vinny goes, "Oh, this looks like a good remote." Have you guys seen Look Who's Talking Now?
No.
I've seen Look Who's Talking.
Look Who's
Period.
Talking 1 is with the baby. Look Who's Talking 2 is also, I think, with a new baby, a baby sister. Look Who's Talking Now is with the dogs. And the dogs are played by Danny DeVito
What?
and
What?
Diane Keaton.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And the Danny DeVito dog, he's sort of like he's a rough
Are these
rough
movies?
guy. Yeah.
Full on movies animated?
No, live action. Anyway, you check those out. We'll get our mini podcast. Look Who's Talking. Look Who's Talking.
Look Who's Talking about. Look, there you go.
Later this year, after the bug mini pod.
I'm not gonna be there for that one.
Lots of questions. Obviously, what's on everyone's brain right now? New Year's resolutions. The new year. Happy New Year. A lot of interesting, more specific questions to what are your New Year's resolutions? But I wanted to at least shout out those questions being asked and answer them. So let's start with it.
Okay.
It's New Year's resolution time, baby. I have a question from Mandy, which is, what is the longest New Year's resolution you ever kept up, if you can even think of it? Do we make New Year's resolutions? Do we have any this year?
No.
I usually do, and I keep them up for about 2 weeks.
That's good.
Most like any routine I try and keep up, it lasts about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe.
I have a strategy that works throughout the whole year, actually.
A whole year? You've made it a one whole year.
I do.
What did you do? What did you do?
I do words.
Words?
Shit, sorry.
Word scrambles?
I do one word of the year.
That's another question that someone named Gabby asked.
And that's my focus word of the year. Last year, it was sleep. And if you guys remember, I had some trouble sleeping.
Well, then it sounds like you didn't do a good job.
I did a good job.
You had trouble sleeping prior.
And I was able to get my average sleep time up 15 minutes from the year before.
That doesn't seem like a huge accomplishment.
It's a big accomplishment
That's
because
a lot.
the year before was 15 minutes more than that.
What
Wait
are
a
you
minute.
at now?
What do you mean?
So
Like
I have
when you go to bed or your total sleep time?
so this ring, I've been wearing some sort of activity sleep tracker for the last few years.
That ring tracks your sleep?
It does.
Is that the Oura?
The Oura ring.
Not to be confused with this week's sponsor, Aura.
But 2 years ago, I slept 6 hours and 45 minutes per night. Last year, I slept, 3 years ago. And then 2 years ago was 7 hours. And then last year was 7 hours and 15 minutes. So in the last 2 years, I've actually increased my sleep by 30 minutes per night by focusing on my sleep.
How have you done that?
I guess that really doesn't seem like a big accomplishment to me.
Oh, it's changed my life entirely, though.
15 minutes?
That doesn't make a difference.
It's really changed my life.
On average?
I guess if I'm like, I want another half hour of sleep, I'll just go to bed early.
I think it's that threshold where like the 7 hour mark is like where I need, that's where I need more than that.
I mean, I'm happy. I want to be clear. I'm happy for you.
Thank you. You're not just dismissing.
I think bringing your.
Wait, how have you done it? How did you do it?
Significant.
I believe you believe this is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, I believe it's a huge accomplishment.
Like, what were you doing to make yourself get to sleep earlier?
I was okay. So
yeah,
what was the systems?
I talked about the one video I watched at night that'll help me fall asleep. Like it's like so good.
Oh, yeah.
Ghost Files, where a woman instructs you
to focus on my eyeballs, on my arms, my finger, my arms, and then I just pass out. The other thing that is crazy is as I'm like family planning and thinking about having kids in the future, I've been reading a baby book on sleep training.
Yeah,
and I apply that to myself. And
you're
worked
training
like
yourself
a charm.
Well, you are your own father in a way.
I am a baby. That's what I learned. I am a baby
and a daddy.
So I sleep trained myself, and I don't know, it just worked. Now, last night I slept at 3 a.m. because I couldn't fall asleep. So that was one, you have mishaps here and there, but you can't let that discourage you.
That's to me why the on average increasing the time is really impressive to me, because I'll have nights where I'm just not sleeping at all.
Last night I had, or 2 nights ago, I had a dream that I was in sort of a business center or like a hotel convention center. And I was trying to find a specific conference room and I couldn't find it. And I had to be there. I was running late, going up a bunch of elevators and asking people left and right. Couldn't find it. But the whole time I was accompanied by Elizabeth Taylor, elderly Elizabeth Taylor, sort of old grandmotherly Elizabeth Taylor.
Interesting.
Yeah. And she was like, we have to find this room. And at a certain point I was like, I got to say, you're very good in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. And she was like, thank you. It was really fun. But more.
That's okay. So my New Year's resolution this year.
What's this year?
My word of the year is purpose. I really wanted to be purposeful in my activities, in my conversations, in my hangouts, and every day this year I have one word that will be my purpose of that day.
So you've got subwords.
I got subwords and my big word.
Do you generate? How are the subwords coming about? Is it every morning you're like, this is the word today? Or do you have 365 words?
I meditate on it and I think about it the morning of. I'm walking the dogs.
That's a good,
30-minute walk.
Walks are good for that. Walks without music or podcasts.
The smell of trees and grass in the morning.
Sometimes when I'm driving around, I'm like, no music today. Let's hear the world. If I'm out for a walk, I'm like, I want to hear the world. It's good to do every now and then, I think. Maybe I'll go on more walks this year.
Walk is your word of the year.
Walk is my word of the year.
But yeah, I would love to shout out Gabby. That was actually one of the questions that we pulled today. Gabby called in from Pittsburgh, PA.
Great city.
Oh, and one thing that I do is before the year ends, I will gather some of my friends and we'll do it together. So we'll all choose a word and then we'll keep each other accountable to that word.
That's
throughout
cool.
the year.
I guess maybe this will count as a resolution, but right before the new year, when we got back after Christmas, I was like, wouldn't it be fun to read a chapter from David Copperfield every night aloud? And Sarah and I are like seesawing on the different chapters.
Reading them aloud to each other?
It's really fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
The magician, David Copperfield?
I'm sure he's got
Would it be funny if we were reading the autobiography of the magician,
his memoir? And so then I told these folks, I'm in Hawaii now.
It's just Dickens. I haven't read Dickens outside of course, Christmas Carol back in the day.
Yeah.
It's just
Tale of Two Cities?
Oh, I did read Tale of Two Cities in like junior high or high school. I'd like to revisit that. It's just so fun because every I think the majority of his books were released as serials, in magazines or whatever. So you'd get he would release a chapter at a time. So each chapter is like very satisfying, and then sets up, it's got a nice sort of like zing at the end where you're like, ooh, I want to know more. So it's really fun. I'll hopefully keep that up for a while. It's like 1,000-page book, so I'm sure I'm sure we'll be doing it for a minute. I think there's like 80 chapters or something.
Whoa.
While we're talking about New Year's resolutions, I'll throw in the last email that I had from Jonathan, who said, "Hey y'all, big fan of the show. I don't know if you believe in New Year's resolutions or if that's something that you want to improve on in the new year. It can be personal or work related." And I think that's interesting. What is something you want to improve on in the new year? I also want to extend a big thank you. I recently lost my son in the NICU. Oh. And watching you all and your videos on Watcher are the only thing that have brought a smile to my face over the past year. Thank you so much. My son's name was Theo Gray Anderson. So,
Theo. Sorry to hear that, and I hope everything's okay. But I'm happy that we were able to help in some way. I can't imagine what you're going through, though. That's awful.
I'm glad we could be a part of bringing some joy to you, but yeah, just take care of yourself, please.
Yeah, sorry to hear about Theo.
Sorry about everything.
Big shouts to John and Theo Gray Anderson. Thank you for the question. But yeah, do you have anything that you want to improve on in this year? Because I think that is a better question than New Year's resolutions. What's something you want to be better at?
If I was going to focus in on one thing, I want to be better at picking up after myself, because I'm not good at it at the house.
Little things.
It drives Mari nuts, and I understand why it does. So I want to be better at that. And I want to just keep the house clean, because the house, if your living space is all cluttered, your mind, it looks like my mind, and I feel like
it's crazy how much a tidy, like even my desk at home, just a couple, like over the weekend,
my desk is a nightmare.
I cleared it out. I made it a nice space, and I was like, this is nice, because I feel like I've got a lot of Puppet History post work to barrel through the next couple weeks, and I was like, this is helpful. This will be nice.
And maybe
it's a good space.
I'll stick to it, I think, maybe this time, because I have problems sticking to routines, because I actually never said this on the pod. I think like 2-3 months ago, I got diagnosed with ADHD officially.
I thought you did mention. Did you not?
Did I mention that? I don't remember. But yeah, I've been grappling with that, and then this is the third day that I've been on the medication officially.
Have you heard of the 10-minute tidy?
No, the 10-minute tidy, no.
At the end of the day, the 10-minute tidy.
But I've always struggled with routines, and I guess that is like one of the things of having ADHD. It's like it's really hard to stick to something. Yeah. Hopefully I could lick that now that I'm treating it.
Well, beyond,
and I will be able to concentrate in conversations more.
God willing.
God willing. We'll see.
I saw a TikTok that was this woman talking about the difference between her and her husband in terms of the idea of cleaning. And I think my wife and I are like this, where to me, she was saying that to her, she makes the food, and then the cleaning is a different thing. But to her husband, cleaning is part of the making of the food.
Oh.
And so the reframing of that in her brain was like, oh my God, this is why it's so easy for him to do this, and why I struggle with this. Because after you eat, you're tired,
Oh, that's the last thing. My wife and I do it where if one of us cooks, the other will clean.
Oh, that's nice.
We do that a lot. And then also when I'm cooking, I'll sort of, if I get something in the oven and I'm like, I got 10, 15 minutes here, then I do a clean. So it's all, then by the time you're sitting down to eat, it's like, all good.
Clean as you go.
The biggest thing I've distilled it down to, and it makes it more simple in my mind, is like, once I move something, just put it back, or just what's.
Yes, there's a lot of, I'm guilty of this too, where you have that sort of like, you've got something in your hand and you're like, I know where this belongs, but I'm over by my desk. I'm going to set this here. And then it sort of becomes white noise to you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because like you don't see it. And I'm not talking about like, an old mug or something, but like just some little knickknack or, bit of clutter that you've just forgotten about.
It's the same result for me.
It becomes, you become blind to it.
Well, it's not so much that I will have something in my hand and I'll be walking to go do something and I could even be walking to go put it away. And then I'll see something. And now all of a sudden I'm redoing the door hinges. And I'm doing that for like 2 hours.
Oh, I do that too.
But like I've had something simple, like this happened recently. It was a couple weeks ago. I was supposed to get something for my car, and I had ended up changing several door handles in my house, and then I did something else. I think I I made the beds, and then I completely forgot what I was supposed to get for my car, and then I needed that thing later. and then I couldn't find it. It's a nightmare sometimes. Like that's
I don't know if it's an audio medium. I want to watch it after. Please don't let me forget the Malcolm in the Middle clip where Hal changes a light bulb. It's just a video where Hal, is that his name?
Hal.
Yeah, Hal from Malcolm in the Middle goes to replace a light bulb, but then it just turns like, he goes to the drawer to get a new light bulb and notices the drawer is like kind of squeaky, and then it just ends with him.
Then he tries to get the WD-40 and then the WD-40 is empty. And then he's like, I got to go to Home Depot now.
It ends with him fixing the car and his wife being like, did you fix that light bulb?
Yeah, that's my life every day. Yeah. I didn't realize that was something that was like that just could be addressed. One of the many things that I have popped up over my life over the past couple months where I was like, oh, that's why I do that thing.
It is like that thing that you were saying earlier where your eyes were dry and you figured out you were like, oh my God, all these moments in my life were colored by the dry eyes.
Well, there's there's a lot of things that happen that you don't necessarily catalog,
And then you realize, oh, there was a reason for all of this happening was like, oh, I have ADHD, or I've been using Costco eye drops.
Yeah.
One of the funniest ones is that now Mari isn't like fighting for her life walking next to me on a sidewalk. Yeah. Because apparently people with ADHD have bad spatial awareness and can't walk straight, and they bump into people all the time, or they'll bump into things themselves, or I'll be walking in a certain way and not even realizing there's a giant fucking like leaf in Mari's path, and she's just like ducking.
Or you're watching sports while we walk through town, and
yeah, we're doing that,
and we try to have a conversation with you. Pay attention to the conversation.
I have a hard time. I bump my shoulders walking around doors every day, all the time. I never knew why I did that, and then I can't. My perception of like space is off.
Interesting.
And that's why
too yoked.
No, dude. It's like I bump into people a lot when I'm walking next to them. I never realized. Well, and as soon as I started telling some of my friends, they were like, and even Shane. When I told Shane was like, yeah, that makes sense, and like cited several examples immediately that were like, yeah, that makes sense now. But it won't be anymore. So hopefully soon. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Could work, could not work. One more tip, by the way, just that I learned recently that I want to share with the world.
Steven's tips.
This is actually from Sam Young, who is our post-production wizard here at Watcher. And she was telling me when you're organizing things in your home, create a home for everything in your home. That way, you know where to put things back. Because right now, I have just like things, just like I have one shelf with everything on it. Or like one countertop with everything on it.
Yeah.
She was saying like create homes for your stuff.
Like Happy Gilmore in the golf ball.
That's right. Like Happy
Gilmore.
What is that? Go to your home. Don't you want to be in your home?
You too good for your home?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to apply that these days.
What's Podwatcher's word of the year? 2025.
Poop.
No, that was 2024. Unfortunately.
That's
such gravitas. Poop.
That's right.
What is our word of the year?
Rides.
No.
Rides. Always rides.
That's the other show.
Maybe we ask people in the comments to
give us
please give us a word of the year.
What do you want Podwatcher's word of the year to be?
And we'll pick and we'll figure it. And for next week,
no,
in 2 weeks, maybe 3, and we will eventually decide what it is.
Can I have a word for this podcast?
Okay.
Fun. I just want to have fun on this podcast. I want to have fun.
I think each week you have to bring in something really fun.
Oh,
that's
okay.
true.
I'll give you your own little thing.
Steven's Fun Corner.
Okay.
I mean, we can pass the conch if you want, you know, to rotate who's bringing the fun that week.
Have you ever tried to blow a conch? It's fucking hard.
No. Is that possible?
It is. Conch?
Let's get a conch in
here.
It's
incredibly hard. I don't know if you've ever tried it.
You have to like hold it weird and then go.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of skill, but I also can't whistle, so nope. I've tried. People have tried to teach me, and they get frustrated because I can't do it.
Steven will be bringing the fun, however, will not be here for the next 2 episodes.
It's okay.
So no fun for 2 weeks, but then after that, we actually have some fun episodes coming up because can we tease it?
Sure.
Tease it.
We're talking to another ghost hunter.
Yes, the ghost hunter. This year's going to have guests.
We're going to lock the room, baby, and only one of us is going to walk out.
And one of these weeks when Ryan's gone, we'll have another magician on.
I swear to God.
I think it'd be fun if someone did my job.
It'd bring in like a...
I think it'd be fun if someone substituted me.
A magician?
I don't care who it is.
Dude, a magician working the keys back there would be so good. Flourishing. I guess that does it for this pod.
Well, to me, that was fun.
That was fun.
That was a fun
Share your
episode.
resolutions in the comments. Let us know how you want us to have fun.
I hope your balls are okay, Steven, after this weekend.
What?
Your eyeballs.
Share your words. Share your words.
We talked about Vinny's balls. We talked about your football. Now we're talking about my eyeballs. Okay, so it wasn't
balls
sure
is the word for the year.
Great. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.